Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this session of xLights GEMS presentation on importing models from other models. And with that, I will turn it over to Ted Cox. Take it away, Ted.
Thank you, Andy. Good evening, everybody. My goal here tonight is to help you map models from a model that you might have in your layout, from a sequence that you're trying to import and that would have different models. And so those submodels are the submodels in our models are what really make the effects. The submodels are smaller rings, they're J hooks, they're arrows, they're ribbons, they're circles. There's all kinds of different shapes inside of all of our models that we can use. And we use those at different colors and different pulses and at different timings in the sequences, and that allows a really dramatic effect of the submodels. And to anybody that's been in doing this for more than a year, you kind of get an understanding of what submodels do. Hopefully, tonight's class will make it a little bit easier for you to model the models that you have into a model from a sequencer, regardless of which one you buy. So there's a couple different ways that you can accomplish this in xLights. And xLights gives us a variety of choices, and many of us, the most common props that we use are the PPD wreath from Biscoyo, or the showstopper wreath or the showstopper spinner from ELF, or a Rosa wreath or a Rosa Grande from GE. And all these are three of them are great props. They've all got great submodels to them. There's a variety of things you can throw at them. But what we're really looking for is the interconnectivity of these three props. So how can we map one and have it look like the others, or how can we map this one to have it look like the spinner, or how can we do that? And we do that with our submodels. And so the easiest way, and again, in xLights, there's many ways to kill a cat. I'm to the animal lovers out there, I don't mean that literally, but anyway, there's many ways to get to an accomplished goal by different means. And I'm going to show you a couple of ways tonight to do that. And what you take away from it tonight, I would like for you to grow it and to share it and to get involved in it. One of the things Daryl started with xlights.info. It's a great website. It shows you all the latest sequences that have been released. It's a good search vehicle, and so on and so forth. What I'm going to concentrate tonight on is if I click up here at the vendor links, and then this brings me now to a copy of all the vendors that are listed on the left, the Coro props, the controller vendors, the educational videos, and so on and so forth. But there's this link right over here called the Model Mapping Google Doc. And if you'll click this document or this link, this will take you to this document. And this was kind of originally my idea. I put it on a simple spreadsheet and I showed it to Daryl, and he went, yeah, let's do this and we can run with it. And so he's really helped me out a lot with that. And what I'm going to tell you here is, if you see a model that's not here that you have and that you'd like to add it to this list, ask for the editing rights, come in here and put your model on here and add it into the appropriate column. And this is not proprietary. It's a shared event and activity for everybody. But what our idea here was, or what my idea was here, was to try to build a matrix of a spreadsheet that would allow me to put a base model in here, and then add different models, different layouts, flakes, wreaths, snowflakes, spinners, the arch, the grandes, whatever the prop you might have in your particular layout. And how do I tie that to the spinner? Well, because the spinner was the only prop I had, and I was importing all different kinds of sequences from Showstopper, from Ron Howard, from Mark, from RGB. There was just a whole bunch of places I was getting sequence, wherever I could grab a sequence from. Well, hell, none of those guys had the Showstopper spinner in it. I had to figure out how I was going to map it all, figure it out. So I thought, well, I'll make a spreadsheet, but I need to know how to figure out what to do on that spreadsheet. So here's what I came up with. I put the showstopper spinner. I opened two different instances of xLights, and I put the showstopper spinner over here on one instance of xLights. Now this gives me all of my submodels that are listed, just like I would from I normally see, and I can click on each one of those and see what it looks like, and so on and so forth. That's a beautiful thing. Then on my other instance of xLights, I set up the props that I'm dealing with on the import. Whether it's a PPD wreath, if you do one of Clyde's sequences, he does a lot of PPD wreath. That's his favorite high dense prop. And if you go this one, Ron's always has his Rosa wreath in his layout. And so you're able to. So what I did was I just grabbed these and I said, okay, I'm going to throw these in here. There's a Rosa Grande, there's a Rosa wreath, there's a PPD wreath. Now this now gives me all the submodels for each one of these in here. So now I can look at it and see, well, gee, this is what a swirl looks like. That's what that looks like. And if I need to, I can go in and look at the particular lines to see what that particular prop looks like. And that kind of looks like an oyster right there already. So I'm going to now close this. I'm going to say, okay, well, what I need to do now is I need to create models that are from these groups that are going to be common to these groups. So I'm going to open up a submodel group window again. And this time I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. So it's on this half of the window. And I said oysters, that one that kind of looked like a little bit. So we'll kind of get one around here we can look at there, that one. And then I'll open up the submodels over here. And there's oysters. And let's look at one individual line, and that looks very similar. So what I do then is I just simply create, or I copy or create and paste this image or this layout from this. I know now that if I map the oysters from the spinner or the oysters from the Rosa wreath or the Rosa Grande, that I can map that to the Rosa wreath oysters, and it'll give me a very similar effect. Simple as that. What I do then is I just go through each of the models and I say, geez, I want to do, if I'm importing a particular prop and it says I'm going to import the half willow on the Rosa Grande, and I don't know where that's going to go on the spinner, well, then I'm going to come in here and I'm going to say, okay, now I'm going to open the spinner up. I'm going to go through the models on it until I find the one that looks like it. And then I'm going to say, okay, now I'm going to map that particular submodel to the submodel of the half willow on the Rosa wreath or the Rosa Grande. So again, it's that simple. It's just taking what the shapes have given you in the submodels that are presented by the sequencer and mapping it or matching it to the submodels that you have available in your prop. And you just have to get two instances of xLights open in order to see that in front of you. Now, one thing I started doing, and I really makes it real simple, is I thought to myself, I want to make it easier now to map. If I have a multitude of HD props, how can I map that one time from one effect to get all of those submodels all done, and they're all in the same shape, or all in the same characteristics, or all give me the same dimension, or they all give me the same effect on that circle, arrow, diagram, spoke, whatever it is. Well, I thought, well, geez, what I can do is I can go in and I can add in a group the submodels from all these different models in the pattern that I want. It's going to give me the pattern that I want from my target. So again, I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to say, listen, I'm going to open this up again, and I'm going to go over here, and we're going to say, let's do a cascade, or a spiral right. Okay, perfect. Okay. So we're going to do a spiral right. Now, what I want to do now over here is I want to find what a spiral right looks like on all these other ones. And then I would do is highlight them all, create a group, come up here, create a group, copy them over to this one. And the developers have made it so easy now that you can import and export. You can actually do this from both instances that are open. So it's really, really easy to create a submodel in this window, transfer it over to this window by import. And that way you can get everything in one, or keep it in the group as an individual submodel from each of these models. And then when you import it, it'll automatically put the effect of whatever you're importing from that to all those affected models. And I'll show you that here in a second. Let me go back to my permanent here. And about that. Okay. Okay, so what I did here was, let's see here. I got to get one of my, okay, there's one. Oop, I'm sorry. Okay, that'll work. Okay, I know I've got something in those groups. How come they're not turning on? Anybody? I'm clicking. I'm locked up. Is my mic still working?
Yep.
Okay. My PC has locked up. I got nothing.
Are you sure your model window is closed? I think you might think it's still open and it's probably beeping at you.
The submodel's open on the other one. Yep. All right, well then we'll kill this one. All right. Nothing. Come on. Kill it. Start it again.
You might still have it open in the background.
If I can. Oh, there it is. Okay, sorry about that. Nothing. Come on. I'm going to restart. Sorry about that. Thanks for the heads up. There I am. Okay. So I downloaded a Rosa Grande here and a PPD wreath. This is the spinner I was talking about. Let's do one more. We'll get let's see here. Let's get one more. Let's get one more. Let's get one more. Let's get a
Nice showstoppers.
Let's get an EFL. We'll do showstopper wreath. I already got one. No, I don't have one. Okay, put that on there. All right, done. Okay, so these are the four models that we're going to make. So what I did was I said, okay, I want to go here to the Rosa Grande, and I'm going to open up the submodels here. And I'm going to say, I want to go down here and say, I'm going to look for a swirl or something along those lines so I can make some kind of a swirl on it or whatever I'm looking for here, right? So I want to try to match that up with this. Here, I'll bet this is going to be it. Hooks. There you go. So hook right, going to be counterclockwise, right? That one's going that way. That one's going that way. Okay, so counterclockwise. So now I'm going to highlight all these. Whoops, let's see here. Up here. Okay. Let's see. Then I can, let's see here. Best thing to do is, I know now that these hooks are going to give me the image that I'm looking for in the Rosa Grande. So I'm going to close this and I move over to the wreath. Now I'm going to do the same thing there. I'm going to open up the submodels. And on here, I'm going to look for spirals. There it is right there. It's going to be easy to do. So what you can do then is you open up this. Oops, I'm sorry. Open up this, go down to the spiral, which was the first counterclockwise. We're going to hold our control key down. We're going to go back up to the Rosa Grande. We're going to, let's see, the Rosa Grande model right there. We're going to open that. We're going to go down to the submodel of that counterclockwise. Blah, 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 down here, down here, down here, down here. There it is, all the hooks. So we're going to go here, and go there. We're going to go all the way around. Now you can skip any other one to match the spacing. Maybe you go, okay, look, I only want one on 4 and 8 and 12 and 16. And that way I'm going to space them out enough so that they're going to kind of match the image of the prop next door. And at the same time, then I can go over to my spinner or my showstopper wreath, excuse me, go down, open up its submodels, do the same thing with it, folks. Looking for a half spinner. The easier way to find the submodels is if you just go to the model there, and then go down here and look at these shapes. It's easier to find your swirls and your different shapes in here by looking at the overall shape and then looking at your line shape to see how close you can get, whether it's a cross or an arrow or a chalice or they've got, Michael's really good about naming all different kinds of things in his submodeling, and submodeling has really gotten exploded in the last couple of years. 3 years ago, there might be 10, to have 10 submodels in a prop was a lot. Now, we have 40, 50, 60, 70 submodels in these props. So, no sequencer is going to use every prop on every model. And they all have their favorites. They all like the way it makes a prop act in a particular way. So anyway, so we're looking for a swirl here. There's a swirl. I could put that in there. So now I'm going to say, okay, I could go down here in the swirl underneath the showstopper wreath over here on the left. Now that I know what shape I'm looking for, I go down here. I'm looking for the swirl. That's what I'm going to drag into. So then I can map that. Once I find the swirl here, the arrows things there we found, and the swirls here, then we just simply hold your control key down, copy those items, say create a new group, create group from selections, name that group whatever you want. I usually name it whatever I'm importing. If I'm importing a PPD sequence and I know it's going to go on a PPD wreath, I'll say PPD wreath, wreath, and I'm going to say this is spinner, or no, counterclockwise left, or yeah, there it is, spinner. Done. So now all those submodels are now contained in that. So now when I go back and I import that sequence, after I've created this model, then I can simply drag that effect from the PPD sequence over to that line on the import window that'll allow me to then place all of those effects on these submodels that we just created by making that group. And it really is that it's that easy. So once you make your submodels and you make similar groups in each of the models, then copy them and drag them into this group so that they're all in one place. And then when you get done with that, then when you import or you map to that, it's very easy then to simply map to that sequence, or take that sequencer, take his effects, drag it to that, and all of the effects on all your HD props will look very similar immediately. So it's a real simple way to do that. Now the third way to do this, and again, this is another way, a great way that developers have created for us, is through aliases. And aliases are kind of a combination of what we just did. It doesn't really create groups, but it allows you to name what you want to import into that model. So I'm going to say, okay, on this particular model, on the PPD wreath, I want to put in I'm going to add an alias of, let's see, counterclockwise spokes. And I'm going to say, okay. Now, when I map to that, I can map to that counterclockwise spokes, and it'll create that image on that particular prop. Now, what the beauty of that is, then you can then say, okay, I want to add the spokes from the wreath, I can add the spokes from the grande, I can add the spokes from the spinner, and I still get all that same effect. And then when you import it and you drop that effect on there, the xLights knows to go out and read it, and if it says, hey, I see that name on this prop, I'll automatically map that for you. I'll automatically put that name of that prop into that slot, so that when you're mapping it, it's much easier. It's a great deal, and you can put as many aliases as you want. You can modify the aliases, you can delete them, you can change them. You can even do aliases on the group, so it's just a great thing. So I highly recommend using aliases, but for me, the easiest way was for me to create the groups of submodels, and so when I import them, I know exactly the effects that I'm putting on those submodels by mapping it to those particular names that I've already named for the sequence that I use. I'm a PPD guy. I've had his club for a couple years, and so I have many sequences, and so therefore his sequence primarily gets primary settlement. My master list is set on his list. So when I sequence and when I map up to his stuff, the PPD wreath is the one that I use primarily, and I use that to map to all my other HD props. And even the wreath, and very soon you'll realize that the ribbons are the same as the circles, or the ribbons on a wreath are the same as the outer circles, or the wigglies, or the squiggly. Then he calls it, I think, 1 and 2. Those are like an outside line or an outside circle, or a number 70 on the spinner. And Michael does his with all the numbers. The other thing I want to mention is Michael. Let's see here. I got it here somewhere. Get this down here. Here, I'll go there. Down here, it shows showstopper insights and the files. And one other thing I want to show everybody. Michael did this, and what he did was he created a Rosa Grande with the showstopper spinner submodels numbered. And what I mean by that is, let's go back to xLights, and let's import one here. And we're going to go to that download, and we're going to grab it right there and put it in here. Okay, yep. All right, now look at what he did. Now there's the same prop as right there. But what Michael did was he numbered the submodels in his Rosa Grande A the same as, and easier to see in the submodel window, but he named them the same as his spinner submodels. Cascading arches, cascading arches, cascading arches, circle, 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 circles, blah, 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 right? We're in the Rosa Grande submodel list. Yes? All right, let's do this. We'll open up the spinner list now. And look at there's the same one. Cascade arches, circles, petals, blah, blah, blah. So what he did was, and he simply sat there just like I did when I created these lists. he sat there and said, okay, I'm going to create a model I'm going to create a submodel in a shape that's similar to the spinner, so that when you map to it, you can now map your Rosa Grande by using the showstopper spinner submodels directly. And that to me is, I told him what you did there was open up a slippery slope, because now I want every model done that way. And wouldn't it be ideal if we took the time to all standardize the numbers on all of our submodels so that they would all work within all of our other models? But I know that's a never going to happen. But it's still kind of interesting that a sequencer took the time to recreate one of his submodels in one of another Coro vendor's products and make it work, and yet have it easy for us to be able to map to it and be able to drag those effects right onto that. And the effects that are on that Rosa Grande are just stunning because of the number of pixels that are in it. So, the density and stuff, and the swirls that you get in it, the patterns you get in it, look at the number of spokes you get in it. It's twice as many as that spinner. So it's just amazing. And so look for more of this type of stuff to come out. I wouldn't be surprised at all if there weren't more models done by other people that are numbered in the same way, so that it's everybody's common use. The goal here is to make the mapping easier. So by creating these submodels groups, by creating the submodels, creating the aliases, or creating those groups inside of, or the groups of the submodels inside of a group, any of those ways are an easy way to map. So I guess I'll ask any questions. Dead silence. I love it.
Any questions? No questions? All right. All right. Well, thanks, Ted. Good.
All right. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you.